the first Wednesday of the month of October in the year 2024. Good morning. You're watching the first bulletin of the day on TV3 right here on New Day. This bulletin is coming to you live from the news app here at Adesawe Kanda. On Facebook, we are live TV3 Ghana, and on DSTV channel 279. Coming up this morning. Governance expert says decision by organized labor to declare an indefinite strike from October 10 over Galamsey is due to lack of leadership by the current government. Nationwide measles vaccination begins today. Also coming up this morning, presidential candidate of the NDC, John Dramani Mahama, engages clergy, charging them to show interest in socio-political activities. We have details of these and many more coming up in the next 20 minutes if you spend your time with me. You can also get interactive with us. Go on to Facebook. We are live as TV3 Ghana. Let's begin with labor, because organized labor has declared a nationwide strike on Thursday, October 10. The strike is to demand that government bans Galamsey and small-scale mining. Spokesperson of organized labor, Joshua Ansah, asks all workers to join the strike.
On September 11, 2024, organized labor asked government to ban small-scale mining and Galamsey. According to the unions, these activities have decimated the forest lands and polluted water bodies. President Akufo-Addo set up a ministerial committee to intervene in the matter of organized labor, but failed to convince labor to rescind its decision. After a closed-door meeting, organized labor has declared a nationwide strike. Joshua Ansah, the spokesperson of organized labor.
Following the expiration of our deadline and the failure of government to meet our demands on illegal mining, that is Galamsey, organized labor has decided to declare a nationwide strike with effect from October 10th, 2024. We are therefore calling on all workers to stay at home starting Thursday, October 10, 2024, until government accedes to our demands.
Other union leaders, including the General Secretary of the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union, ICU, Morgan Ayaweni, said the impact of the strike will be there.
Government, we are proceeding to declare a nationwide indefinite strike action. And that is going to cover all our operational area, namely formal and private sectors of the economy.
He called on government to act swiftly.
To the effort of government, we can surely, nip this in the bud, so that we can have our lands, our water bodies, so that we don't risk even importing water from abroad.
Meanwhile, a governance consultant, Professor Bafo Ajibondia, says the lack of leadership by the current government is to blame for the declaration of strike by the labor unions. He believes the president can rally the entire country together in the fight against the Galamsey canker.
I am hoping that the president will break his silence and respond. I think the response that we have gotten so far from government is not satisfactory. It does not address the concern, the urgency of the matter. And it is very surprising that the president is showing no concern about this. I think if before their deadline of the 10th of October, they are not getting the response that they want, I will not be surprised if they proceed with a threat to go on strike. And such a strike will certainly paralyze the country. And I don't think any president would like to see his country paralyzed by a strike by organized labor, because that would be very widespread. Well, I think the whole problem revolves around leadership. I think there's serious lack of national leadership on this particular problem. And if the president himself is not showing leadership, it opens the doors for his people to make all kinds of statements that are certainly not to be respectful, certainly not that things that don't make sense in the midst of such a situation. So I think the president has been firm to really give some sense of direction. That sense of direction could influence how his own ministers and appointees will make a statement relating to the issue.
Professor Bafo Ajumanjia is a governance expert, and away from that, pre-tertiary teacher unions hit the street Tuesday morning, demanding better conditions of service. The teachers accused the Ghana Education Service (GES) of disparities in salaries. Joseph Armstrong Godalogbe has the rest of the story.
The unions, the Ghana National Association of Teachers (NAT), National Association of Graduate Teachers (NAGRAT), and the Coalition of Concerned Teachers Ghana, clad in red, demonstrated on the streets of Accra from a brass sport to the Ministry of Education with aggression amid singing and dancing. The aggrieved protesters displayed placards with inscriptions: "Treat teachers with dignity," "Teachers are losing trust in government," "Teachers also deserve allowances," "Cost of electricity is killing us," and "Treat teachers with decency," among others. Some of them spoke with the news team.
We have some people, they call themselves Article 71 people. Now, this group of people retired on their salaries. They do their terms and they are paid ex gratia. We as teachers, we are allowed to contribute into our pension. Our basic salary, 5% of them, or of it, is taken to invest into our pension. My brother, for 13 good months now, government has not released that money to our fund administrators.
We have teachers with diploma, Set A and what have you. They pursue further education and upgraded themselves to have the degree certificates. To date, said teachers are not being upgraded to the right rank. Meanwhile, you are upgrading teachers with degree certificates, and immediately after their employment, they are placed on level 16. Once we have teachers who have served the country for 10, 15 years, have acquired the requisite qualification certificate, and we are denying them that upgrading.
We are humbly appealing to the minister to take it up to the appropriate officers that we are ready to cooperate with them.
Some of the teachers from rural communities also bemoaned the challenges they are faced with.
I'm at a coastal area. We don't have bungalows over there. So if you are provided with rentals, I think it will be better.
You are going far. You have to get down and walk for about 5 kilometers. You go there and then you are not being motivated.
Receiving their petition, the Ministry of Education assured the teachers their concerns will be addressed. Joseph Armstrong, Good TV3, Accra.
Indeed, we are your election command center. Trust us to bring you credible reportage before, during and after the general elections. The register is clean, robust and ready for election 2024. That's according to the Electoral Commission, and as it addressed concerns of the NDC at an Inter-Party Advisory Committee IPAC meeting. Responding to the NDC's allegations, Chairperson of the Electoral Commission affirmed that the current provisional register has been significantly updated and is more accurate than the previous one.
For the first time, the Inter-Party Advisory Committee meeting, IPAC, welcomed the media to its proceedings, a bold step by the Electoral Commission to promote transparency and accountability in its engagements with political parties ahead of the December general elections. Amidst the swirling controversy surrounding the credibility of the 2024 voters register, raised prominently by the NDC, this meeting focused on addressing the concerns of the largest opposition party. The EC has maintained that it has rectified all discrepancies in the provisional register, asserting that no external intervention is necessary.
Over the last few weeks, the Commission has employed tried and tested legal and administrative processes to clean the provisional register and rid it of discrepancies as envisaged by the framers of the 1992 Constitution. We can confidently state that most of the discrepancies discovered to date have been resolved. Assertions that the discrepancies in the provisional voters register are aimed or were aimed at disenfranchising voters in certain parts of the country are untrue. We have cleaned up the provisional voters register and corrected all discrepancies identified to date.
The Commission, through its IT consultant, Dr. Yaofori Ajay, reiterated the NDC's failure to provide substantive data or evidence of the alleged discrepancies. Nonetheless, it assured that the 2024 elections would proceed as planned, with the finalized register soon to be made available to all political parties.
We have demonstrated to you that the Electoral Commission of Ghana has in place a tried and tested process to produce a credible register that ensures a free, fair, and transparent election. Trust us to be able to deliver on a register that you will all be proud of, a register that does not disenfranchise anybody. The anomalies that have been identified have today been largely fixed. The register that we have all strived hard to correct, currently as it stands now, is as cleanest as it will ever get. And it is robust, and it is ready for the 2020 election.
Despite these assurances, the NDC remained unconvinced, insisting that their concerns were not fully addressed.
What we see here is mopping and mopping and mopping. Fixing the leakage is missing. And this is at the heart of our altruistic demand for a forensic audit. This forensic audit is not just about the register. We need to adopt a dichotomous approach. Look at the register, fix the issues in there, and also audit the very IT systems that allowed these anomalies to occur.
For the NPP, the current situation feels like a deja vu, urging the NDC to place trust in the Electoral Commission, just as the NPP did in the lead-up to the 2016 elections.
We were assembled here for the same purpose of getting a credible register for the 2016 elections. 9 years ago, our colleagues on the other side said, no, the register is fit for purpose. Allow the Electoral Commission to do its work. Why are you interfering in the affairs of the Electoral Commission? I think that we are repeating ourselves the same way. The issues have been fixed. The IT director has said, and we followed it, and I'm telling you that we commend you the same way the committee then commended us. But you are trying to play the catch-up. So we will leave you to your fate.
Meanwhile, several other political parties expressed satisfaction with the Commission's effort to explain and resolve the challenges, praising the EC for taking time to engage and clarify.
In more news this morning, presidential candidate of the NDC, John Dramani Mahama, has charged religious leaders to show interest in socio-political activities in the country. At a meeting to engage the clergy, he charged them to speak about the events leading to the elections and after.
The meeting is part of events to engage various stakeholder groupings and also market the policies of the NDC and their manifesto. John Mahama admonished the clergy not to take the back burner on issues of national interest, especially the upcoming elections.
I'll urge you not to sit passively and watch. I think that our clergy should get involved in the processes of the election. Nothing stops you from sending representatives as observers to the collation centers, to the polling stations to see how the count is going on. Nothing stops you from tallying the results yourself, putting in a tally system so that you can also tally the results, so that when there's controversy between us about what the results are, you will also be able to say, well, from the tally we got, we think that this is what's the exact result.
He indicated that a future NDC government will institute a national day of thanksgiving and prioritize religious freedom.
This initiative for a national day of prayer and thanksgiving stems from my belief in the power of prayer and reverence for God as essential elements for the success of any nation. And I reaffirm this pledge to you today. The day of prayer and thanksgiving will serve as a day of intercession, promoting national unity and cohesion, which are vital for our country's development and growth. We will prioritize religious freedoms, recognizing that churches are not only places of worship, but also centers for social upliftment, compassion, and moral leadership.
The clergy responded to the call of the former vice president.
We are in 4 regions. We have deployed people who are going there to be election monitors. Some of them will be observers. So yes, His Excellency's call must be heeded too. More councils should also do the same as GPCC is doing.
Elections are a time where people come to speak their mind and decide on leadership. An election time in any nation is not supposed to be anything that is bringing chaos. And there can never be peace anywhere without justice. And justice cannot be served without truth.
The event did not end without a prophecy from controversial prophet Osu Bempa. The clergy prayed for the country and its leadership.
Well, let's know what you make of John Dramani Mahama's fellowship with the clergy and other stories that have been aired so far. Go on to our Facebook platform, TV3 Ghana, engage us with your comment observations, and we'll surely read them and share them to the rest of the world. And now, leader of the Movement for Change, Alan Kyerematen, has presented himself to be scrutinized by policymakers and eligible voters ahead of the December 7 general elections. Answering questions at the maiden edition of the Institute of Economic Affairs evening encounter, the former trade minister accused the NDC and NPP for running what is described as an artificial economy since the inception of the Fourth Republic. Take a listen.
Leader of the Movement for Change, Alan Kyerematen, explained that the model of management adopted by past government has resulted in Ghana returning to IMF every 8 years. He says the game changer for the Ghanaian economy is his Great Transformation Plan, which he says will steer the country in the right direction.
We've been running an artificial economy for many years. And that's the problem with our 2 parties, the NDC and NPP. We have been running an artificial economy for all these years. How is it that over 32 years, each party lands us in the IMF? Both of them, getting to their 8th year, they finish off with the IMF.
He said he has put in place policies to ensure that Ghana produces its own spare parts when elected into office.
The interesting thing about what I've done in the area of vehicle assembly is that I'm not only interested in assembly, I'm actually interested in component manufacturing. So before I left office, I also introduced new policy that within the next 2 years, we'll be producing our own spare parts in Ghana to feed the assembly companies.
Reiterating his condemnation of the arrest and detention of Democracy Hub protesters, Alan Kyerematen says what the judges have done is an abuse of judicial discretion.
You see what happened in Kenya? You see what happened in Nigeria? Are we going to allow our young people to take to the streets in a more violent way before we start holding our politicians and their feet to fire? They are put before different courts, and our judges have refused them bail. Even murderers, by law and by judicial precedents, cannot be denied bail. How can you charge somebody with misdemeanor, which is a minor offense under our criminal code? You charge them with a misdemeanor, and you are refusing them bail. It doesn't add up. It is an abuse of judicial discretion.
Well, if you're just tuning in, you are watching the morning news on TV3 on New Day. Later this morning, some 5 million children will be vaccinated against the measles, rubella virus and given vitamin A supplements across the country. The campaign is to complement efforts to strengthen routine immunization following the increasing number of measles cases reported across the country.
The last time Ghana held a mass vaccination campaign against the measles rubella disease was in 2018, leaving behind a chunk number of the children who have become vulnerable to the disease. For years, cases of measles have been on the decrease, but for the last 3 years, there have been an increase in cases in all parts of the country. The campaign scheduled to start on Wednesday, October 2, will also include the administration of vitamin A supplement. Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kuma Abuaji, at the official launch of the national campaign, entreated the general public to get involved to ensure the children are protected.
We have the supply, also have the demand. The demand is that the community, the people, mothers, fathers, should also make the children available for vaccination. There is nowhere in the country where you cannot say that vaccines are not available. And so what we need most is for people to make their children available for vaccination and assuring people that it is effective, it is safe, and it is free.
The program manager for the expanded program on immunization, Dr. Kwame Amponsa Achiano, noted that even though the country has made progress in efforts at implementing the WHO recommended strategies for the control of measles rubella, there's still a long way to go as a country.
We've come a long way. We are doing around 95%. So the 5% or 10%, if you translate to our birth cohort, which is about 1.2 million, it means you are leaving children about between 70 and 100,000 every year. And if you have that over time, 4 or 5 years, it becomes a huge cohort of about 500,000 children who will then be the focus for measles outbreaks. And that is why it is so important that we do this exercise.
Over 10,000 vaccination teams have been deployed for the 4-day exercise.
Well, on that measles note, we end the morning news. For more news updates, just log on to our website at 3news.com. Just live life to the fullest and worry less about your problems. My name is George Quinn. Thanks for watching. It's always a pleasure coming your way. Have a good morning.
In a world where every moment counts, one team stands ready to deliver the news that shapes our lives.